I'm going to start a quick review on digital security safety, and I'm going to break apart one product at a time. And I want to kind of preface this entire thing by letting you know that nothing is secure. And I'm going to let you know this because there's some conversations that if you have Signal or if you have um, Proton Mail or if you've got and we always say it's just as strong as the weakest link possibly can be, right? So if you take a Proton Mail, how do you get it to somebody else? You're not going to hand it to them. It's got to go OTA or over the air, normally in a wireless transmission, unless of course you're hardwired and you're only sending it to your own server, which people just typically don't do. So during the transmission process, even it's encrypted, there are encryption softwares. And as we move more towards a period of quantum computers, governments are grabbing all the data they can, knowing that it will soon be cracked anyways. However, it is my understanding that although you're not going to be hiding from governments who have all the tools, you can at least create a block from prying eyes and withhold instant information long enough to get it out and then move on to a next priority. But there are some that are absolutely dangerous for us. And I want to talk about this, and I'm going to preface with an absolute, this is not sponsored by this organization. So KidCheck, what is it? Secure Children's Check-in. This is a touchless express check-in process. The idea is when you would drop off your child, you would rather you might at one point just drop off your child, sign them in on a sheet. When you come back, sign them out, and you're good to go. Some people did a little bit more advanced, and they would make maybe a name tag that would go around the child's neck. And then in the name tag, there's a piece of paper that comes out. The parent takes the paper, the child puts the name tag around the neck. And then when the parent comes back to retrieve the child, they hand in the name tag associated with that child's name, and they take the child. Now, but realistically, in most scenarios where you're going to leave your child unattended, they're with somebody you know. So these aren't massive, huge groups in most scenarios. There's somebody there that recognizes you, knows that you're associated with that child. And over a certain age, the child knows you anyways, correct? But in the case that somebody wants to unfortunately take that child for themselves for any reason, and in most reasons, it's actually familiarity, it's a family member that does it, the child is going to go with that person because they know them. So there's a conversation here that this is secure children's check-in. And yet there is absolutely nothing, no thing secure about this process. And I'm going to go into more detail in a minute. I'm even going to go over to the TOS, the terms of service. But how is it that taking computers and putting them in another room away from even where you're at or where your kids, normally that's how it's set up, maybe in a lobby or entryway, is protecting the children? If somebody wants to take the child, they're going to take the child. But you've now created an easier path for them to find your child, track your child, and grab your child by, in fact, using a tool like this. So let's go into some of the scenarios that are expressed here. So this is KidCheck, Secure Children's Check-in. If you want to watch the video, of course, the site is right here. There's free demos, signups, features, and pricing, all kinds of varieties. A lot of these are used maybe if you're going to a child care facility, they drop it off. Some of the school systems are using this or something similar. A lot of the churches are using this. In fact, a lot of the parishioners are saying, hey, we want our children more secure. We know about KidCheck. Why aren't you using it? The churches will fold and go ahead and put it in. Because I will point out time and time again, there is a huge distinction between somebody who studied IT and somebody who understands digital security. And for a lot of individuals, they'll say, well, hey, doesn't my phone track me? Or, it doesn't matter anyways. This is the world we live in. Look at when it's your choice to make an action, what you're going to do for your family. And when you're in an organizer level or a leadership role, as an example, maybe you're in a leadership role at a church and you decide to implement a program like this, you are drilling holes in the foundation of your entire church because you have just sold out every single family in your church. And if somebody wants to go after a church and make them fold or close down, they're going to go after the children, right? Because nobody wants anything to happen to their children, so they will start in that direction. and it'll be nice and cute and playful and helpful and secure and protecting. But what do we know if we don't know anything else? There's two doors in life. One is marked security and the other is marked freedom. When you turn over your security to someone or something else, you have now lost both. So if we look down here a little bit, again, you can look for a demo to get an understanding, but what I want to do is call your attention down here to the bottom. Let's see if I can get this moved over a little bit. Info for parents and privacy policy. These are the terms of service. So let's go here. I've got it already loaded here. This is the info for parents, as you can see, and it gives an overview of what it is. You can create a free account. It's very free, very frictionless. You can even put the mobile app right here onto your phone. They make it very easy. And there's a conversation that on here that I saw before, and I don't see it right now, but it talks about how secure it is because all the data is stored on a cloud and it has the top digital security protocols. Nobody can hack it. It's absolutely safe is what they're saying. So don't worry about the data. But you don't care how safe it is when you see the next page that I'm going to give you. It doesn't matter how much they're protecting it because they're selling the information anyways. So what we wanted to do, that the other option down here, it was only on the first page. So we'll go back to that just so I can show you again. Terms of service, privacy policy. So that's what I click on to get to this next page. Now this is where they tell you what they're going to do to you. By law, they have to do this. And we're going to spend some time going through this because this is very, very important. Privacy policy. Scope. And again, this is an overview. This isn't their full policy. The statement applies to KidCheck's products, services, and websites worldwide, globally. Now, what we do know is as soon as information is bounced from a server inside the United States to a server outside the United States and then bounces back into the United States, all of a sudden the governing authority has a right to that data under the guise of Homeland Security, right? They have a right to screen that data to make sure we're safe. So worldwide is not helpful. KidCheck collects personal information. They're collecting your personal information. When you register, you're giving it to them, your own personal information for a KidCheck service or otherwise voluntarily providing such information. So that's telling you when you voluntarily, without any coerciveness, are put in your information, you're giving it up to them and they can do anything they want with it, right? They collect that information. They're telling you that. And we may combine personal information collected from you with information from other KidCheck services. So we've got other services out of there, other subsidiaries, other programs and products, or even third parties, which means anybody on the planet, to provide a better user experience for you. We know that user experience isn't better for you, including customizing content for you. That means targeted marketing. So they're going to take that information that you voluntarily gave them because you weren't thinking and combine it with other personal information you would have given up without thinking in other locations and even share it with third parties. And it's all because we love you and we want the best product for you. Next bullet point, KidCheck uses cookies and other technologies to track you. I mean, to enhance your online experience, right? It tracks you. They track. And to learn about how you use KidCheck services in order to improve the quality of our service. Why do you care how you use it? If you're just dropping your child off at church, you're picking them up, that's how you use it. You don't need any more bells and whistles. But they do because they're selling the data. They're gathering it and selling the data. KidCheck, next bullet here, KidCheck servers automatically record information when you visit our website or use some of the products, including the date and time of your request. Anytime you bounce onto this site that I'm on right now, they gather your information automatically. And if you want more in the full privacy policy, you can click here. I think this is enough what we're going through today, but if you want to rip that apart, feel free. Uses. We may use personal information to provide the services that, hey, you've requested it. We're just giving you what you wanted, including services that display customized content and advertising right there, advertising to you. We may also use personal information for auditing, research, and analysis to operate and improve KidCheck technologies and services. That means that as they allow APIs and they branch out with other partners, they're going to sell your personal information for research so that those companies have it as well under the guise that it'll help out better here. A smoother transition to be sold by another product. But the product is you, it's your digital footprint. And in this case, your child's digital footprint. You're selling out your own child. We may share aggregated non-personal information with third parties outside of KidCheck. Well, they're okay, but up here, they're already letting you know that third parties for better use of service. So they're just saying non-personal, but they've already told you they're sharing what you voluntarily gave. Next bullet. When we use third parties to assist us in processing your personal information, why do they need third parties to process your personal information? We require that they comply with our privacy policy, which means that they can also share with third party. So this is what, 7 degrees of separation now, and any other appropriate confidentiality and security measures. Well, they've already broken them. What other security do they need? We may also share information with third parties in limited circumstances, including when complying with legal process, preventing fraud or imminent harm, and ensuring the security of our network and service. It's not about you. Ensuring the security of their network. So if the FBI comes in and threatens them that you can't, we're going to shut you down if you don't give us the list of parishioners at such and such church, or the attendees at such and such a meeting, well, that threatens their security. So in that limited circumstance, they're going to comply with the legal process and legal request, and there goes your whole list of families that use this service. KidCheck processes personal information on our servers in the United States of America and servers outside of the country. There you go. Bounces out, bounces back in. Hey, it's your choice. We offer you choices because we care about you when we ask for personal information whenever reasonably possible. You may decline to provide personal information just because there's a blank line there, just like when you go to your doctor and they want you to fill out everything in there about personal information that is none of their business. You don't have to put anything in that blank. And in order for them to force you, often they go to a computer scenario or an iPad where it's not on paper, where you can't skip the line. Right? They're manipulating this so that you're volunteering information because it's required. It's not required. I go into doctors' offices and tell them, thank you, I see the system. I'm not able to use it. May I please have pen and paper? They always have it handy. You just have to ask. And if they don't, then it's okay. You don't have to fill it out. You either don't have to go to that doctor, or honestly, when you take the time to fill it out, the doctor doesn't look at it anyways. Well, in this case, they do look at your information. And it may not be an individual set of eyeballs on it, but they're sharing and sorting through from a data analytical perspective. And what's worse is they're comprising all this information into a clone of you in cyberspace known as a digital footprint. So the choices are, you don't do it. You may decline to provide personal information to us or refuse cookies in your browser, although you may be punished. Some of the features or services may not function properly as a result. Hey, take your chances. We make good faith efforts to provide you access to your personal information upon request and to let you correct such data if it is inaccurate. So let's say that you didn't know about us and you gave us your phone number. Now you realize we sell your data. And if you want to come in and change it, we'll make a good faith effort to do it. We're not going to promise we're going to do it. And then it says here, delete it. However, because of the duplication of their service, the information is never deleted. And it cannot be deleted because they've already sold it with third parties who shared it with third parties. So they specifically say here, good faith effort when it's reasonably possible. That's not reasonable because we want to make money off it. You already voluntarily gave it to us. So this is just a quick layman's interpretation of what they're telling you here. Of course, information, how you use it, you can get, more information here if you want to really dig into it. Data integrity, I think this is what I was looking at here. No, it's not the whole thing. But so they're telling you that if you voluntarily give your information, you've given it, of free will, and they're going to take that information and track you, monitor you, use it to market to you, share it with third party who can then share it with their third party. They're going to share it with the legal authorities. They're going to bounce it outside the United States, which falls under a whole nother set of laws as it comes back into the United States. So tell me now, how is KidCheck a secure children's check-in? Secure for who? It's secure that their data can't be hacked. But their data is you, and they've already sold you out the back door. So we need to be wise as we're implementing such programs. Are they really safe? Are they the best option? Or do you want to be the parent in the room that puts up your hand and said, I'm not doing it. And I don't think that you should do this to other families either. But if you so choose and other people choose to go down that path, then please just give my child a lanyard and I'll take the card. And when I come back, I'll give you the card in exchange for the lanyard. And that's how I will monitor my child's safety. Okay, so this has been the review of KidCheck. And again, we're just going to take a few items and break them apart and start having you think through this process. You are the target. If it's free, you're the free lunch. We've got to think smarter here. And do not sell out your child. When you signed up your child for school, you had to give a birth date and social security number and vaccine records, which means medical records, which means contact to the doctor's office, which means a connection. They want emergency. They collect all this data. They now have a tree of everybody associated with the family. And if you're ever attacked, you can watch like a playbook, then go right down the list of the items that you filled in within that organization that they're using to attack you. And if you don't think this is serious, then look at Marilyn Garland's attack on parents at school board meetings. They are rolling out KidCheck so that they have a better understanding and tracking. They will know in advance which parents are showing up to these meetings. They will know in advance what other meetings this parent has gone to. They will know in advance where this child will be when the parent isn't there, because they now know that this child goes to church on Sunday and soccer on Saturday and an event regularly on Friday. And yet the cell phone isn't always at that event. Therefore, they know that the parent is not at the location where the child is scheduled to be. And that's the perfect time to grab a child. Now, I'm not telling bad guys how to do this. They already know. I'm waking up naive parents who are thinking that I'm going to be lazy or I'm not going to speak up when I know innately that this is not the right path. This program is not for you. It does not protect you, and it is not secure. So start paying attention here as we move in through the next few years. If you don't need it, don't do it. Sometimes more isn't better. It's just more. Let's go ahead and think wisely and start protecting our children for the next generation.